Hey, it's time to get right to it. Let's start navigating the entire guitar fretboard by going from like all the way down here, all the way up the fretboard, all the way to like up here. And I know we see a lot of people doing this. We always see the pros, the people we look up to as guitarists doing this all the time, but it seems like impossible. I'm here to tell you it's actually quite possible, as long as you know one darn secret. And that's exactly what we're here to learn in today's video. Hey, as always, thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. And if you haven't already yet, make sure you click like, subscribe, and the alert button so that you can see every single time I come out with a new video, which is a lot. Now, again, it might seem at first like impossible to be thinking about navigating the fretboard like you would see a John Petrucci navigating the fretboard, and his ability to go all the way from down here all the way up there just effortlessly. Remember that in Western music, we only typically have 7 notes in one scale. Sure, we have 12 notes available to us until it repeats. So in other words, this low E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then we're back to E and it just keeps repeating. It's what appears on every single string on the guitar, just in different octaves or the same octaves. But even further, a proper scale like your major scale only contains 7 notes. And then once you hit that top 7th note, it just repeats over and over and over again. So the one way we can really start to memorize and understand how to go in a diagonal or start low and end up high on the fretboard using those same 7 notes is by really understanding how to use and master octaves. For those of you that don't know, an octave is just the same note. So an A and an A, for example, but one of those could be lower in frequency and pitch than the other one, or higher. An example of that is like the 3rd fret on the low E and the 5th fret of our D string. Both are a G note, but the one on the D string is an octave higher. What about like the 5th fret of the D string and the 8th fret of the B? Still just notes of G, but different octaves. Outside of that, you can find the same octaves in different places. But again, it's all about octaves. It's all about visualizing where those octaves are, because if you know one pattern of 7 notes for a scale, and you know where all the octaves of the starting points are for that scale, it becomes really easy to start navigating diagonally all across the fretboard. So even though I know there are a ton of other octave variations, I want you to focus on 3 key notes right now. I'll put it up on the screen right now for you to take a look. And in this example, we're just going to stick with the note of G, 3rd fret of the low E string, 5th fret of the D, 8th fret of the B. And I want you to know that that spacing exists everywhere. So if we wanted to move that up to A, we would just say 5th fret of our low E, 7th fret of our D string, and then the 10th fret of our B. It's the same spacing of frets in between each of those. So to show you how valuable it is to really start understanding octaves, let's start with a really simple scale. Let's start with a G major scale. We'll do the 3 note per string pattern. Low E string, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. A string, 3rd, 5th, 7th. And then on our D, we will end on the 4th fret. And if you count that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes. It's all 7 notes of G major. But what do we notice is really close to us on that D string now? The 5th fret, which we know is the 1st. It's G. So that's our first note of G major again. So already I'm able to see, okay, I could play 1 octave of the scale here, but then if I scoot up, I could play another octave starting right there. Now, the only difference is that the B string we know is tuned slightly different. So you only have to make a switch for that one string. I'll show you what I mean. So if we think about that same exact pattern, now it starts on the 5th fret of D and it goes 5, 7, 9. On the G, 5, 7, 9. And because the B is tuned differently, we can't just go here to the 6th fret. We have to move any pattern that we have toward the headstock up 1 fret. So it'll start and end, I should say, that scale on the 7th fret. But once again, what are we close to? If we're ending on that 7th fret of the B, we know that the 8th fret starts again. That's our octave of G again. So we can easily do that same pattern where we're going like 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12 to extend even further. And if we want to wrap it up and sound fancy, we could always go to the 14th fret and 15th fret of the high E to resolve it, because right there at the 15th fret, it's, what do you know, another octave of G. So already we've been able to go all the way from here and ending here with the same exact pattern and same exact 7 notes just by knowing where the octaves are and where the scale starts in different areas. So let's work through this whole thing right now together and combine it all. Low E, 3, 5, 7. A string, 3, 5, 7. The D, we will go to the 4th fret, and then we will slide that index finger to the 5th, and we will play 5, 7, 9. And then on the G, 5, 7, 9. And then on the B, we go to 7, slide up that index finger to the 8th fret, and we go 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. And then we can resolve by going 14, 15. I mean, outside of being able to play it that way, and again, I don't recommend that you play it in order perfectly like that for every time you jam and do improv. It's just supposed to be a tool for you to start visualizing where all of those notes are easily. But even further, if you know positions of your scales, this is a really easy way to start working into positions that are higher up on the neck. An example of that is if I start with my first position of major right here, I know that maybe I go 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 9. I know, okay, well, I'm right in this area, and I know that my second position is right here for that same major scale. So I've already found a way diagonally to work into another position, and it just continues all across the fretboard in that way. But here's the beauty, it works for every single scale, so you don't just have to do a major scale every darn time. Let's do something like our minor pentatonic. Let's start on G again, because we're in that feeling, we're on that 3rd fret of the low E, and let me show you it still works. And again, it's just the same 5 notes, just in different areas. And it starts to really help you visualize how to make your way easily and smoothly and effectively all the way from down here up to here, and to go into other positions or patterns that you're familiar with. And it works for every darn scale. So this is one of the biggest tricks and secrets that the pros use all the time to really navigate the fretboard easily. It makes something that seems so daunting so simple to figure out, really. So start testing this out today. I want to make sure that you start running through all of the scales you already know. I want you to start them on G, of course, like we just did, to really connect the dots. And once you feel comfortable, start moving it into different keys. Start going to A, start going to B, and so on. Again, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you being here for this short lesson. But if you want to see more of them, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you click the alerts, as always, and I will see you in the next video.